So this week, water. Talking about water, eh? Talking about the importance of hydration and how to stay hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It it's a subject that most people would think, oh, I don't need to know about that. But the more that I dove into it and started to realize how many people are chronically dehydrated, it's crazy. It's over 70% of adults in the United States from the age of 20 all the way up to whatever age, over 70% of them are chronically dehydrated. And it's
Wow.
getting to the point in this. Gary Breckett shared this with on a video that I listened to, and I really follow him. He only speaks if it's scientifically proven.
Mm-hmm.
He said that people that are in their late 40s, early 50s, because they haven't drank water and they've been chronically dehydrated for years, sometimes decades, that the the thirst, the like when your body gets thirsty,
Yep.
that part of the brain is starting to fade away. So
Oh wow.
they don't even feel like they're thirsty. So that's kind
Wow.
of going away. That's just not good. That's just not good.
That's
Um,
scary actually. That's quite fearful to know that your body can do that. I didn't,
mhm.
I mean, I've just learned something from that from you doing that deep dive into that. We both love Gary, and that's one I've not heard before.
Mhm.
So you just taught me that massively. I didn't know that. And
It
we've
is
got
it's a really powerful thing because let's just talk let's talk about what everybody really knows, right?
hmm
So we've already talked about breath work. We've talked about air. We talked about oxygen, talked about CO2 and how important it is. So that's the
hmm
first thing that a baby needs
yeah,
when it comes onto this planet. It comes out of mom. It needs to take that first breath.
yeah,
And then the last thing it does before it goes back to wherever it came from, takes its last breath.
yeah.
And in between those two, so many people don't think about their breath anymore.
True.
They don't focus on it, right? I mean,
No.
it's one of those things. If you see somebody like take a deep breath, they're like, you ask them,
Yeah.
"Are you okay?" They're like, "I'm fine." It was the body
Yep.
just needing some more oxygen, right? So the first thing we really need is oxygen. That's what
Yeah.
to survive. What's the second thing that we need?
Water.
We need water, and that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so many people don't talk about it. And in this day and age, we have to educate ourselves, not just on drinking the water, but getting the right water. Because
Yep.
in the United States, and I don't know about other parts of the world, and this is, and I have to say, this is different areas of the country have different types of water. But if you live in a big city like I do, I live in Phoenix with 4 million people, you you can, but you shouldn't drink the tap water
I agree
because
with that.
there's a lot of different things in that water that are the body just doesn't like and it's not good for it, you
Mm.
know. But they need to keep the water clean and they have to put the chlorine in so it kills some of the bugs. So the bugs, as it's traveling down to your faucet, it has to have that.
That's a
For
tap,
us,
right? A faucet. Is a faucet a tap?
faucet is a tap.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
So just to clarify, a faucet is a tap in the United States as a Great Britain, but a tap here typically means beer. Give me a beer
Oh,
out of the
okay.
tap. Give me a beer
Okay, okay.
out of the tap. Okay. All right.
What? This is, I know we got to talk about water, but why do you guys complicate so much shit? Like,
That's
why is like, why, like,
it's
a
not
tap is a
complicated to
tap.
me. A tap is like let it's like I want to get a beer, get it from the tap. I want it out of the keg of beer, then you have to get it from the tap. Or you
And
want it
we've
in a
got,
bottle.
I've got so much to learn. I've got so much, I've spent years and years in the US, but I've got so much to learn
Well, all you
because
have to
like,
remember is don't drink the water out of the faucet, which is a tap. And
Yes,
you don't have to worry about the other tap because you haven't drank in like 5 years and
that's true.
you've learned your lesson there. Okay. So that's
That's very true. So
yeah.
anyway, back to what you were saying about the
What are
faucet
we
tap,
talking
whatever
about?
you want to go.
Beer or water?
We were talking about the water because of the chemicals that are put into it. That
Yeah.
it is okay to drink, and the thing of that is that you live in just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, which is quite a new city, right? Which is quite a new kind of area when it comes to like how old the houses are there, right?
Hmm.
So, when I
Yeah.
looked into this,
Yeah.
I did a lot of research into this actually as well about the UK. And ours is not only are they putting the chemicals in and the chlorine in and everything else that they're pumping into the chemicals, our pipes that carry the water have not been cleaned for over 200 years.
Hmm.
Some of them,
Yeah.
right? Some of the pipes. Now, and then they've replaced them and they've replaced them with something amazing, which is called plastic.
Called plant. Oh, that's he's being
So,
sarcastic, being sarcastic there, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, we've gone from, there were they were like concrete or with they weren't concrete originally back in the 200 years. They were more they were more made out of brick and stuff like that, the pipes that we
Okay.
used to have. And then now they've been changed to plastic ones. So now the water for me, when I've looked into it and researched it in the UK, is I don't drink tap water unless it comes through a filter. And I know
Yeah.
you do the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we do. It if you really look into it, if you really look into the water and you look at what's in it, there's a whole bunch of different things, but the two things that come to the surface is chlorine
Mm-hmm.
and fluoride.
Yep.
And fluoride, do your own research, but do not put fluoride in your body anymore. And be very educated. Now we're going to go down another just for a second. Don't buy toothpaste with fluoride in it. And when you go to the doctor, don't have them do a fluoride wash on you either.
Yeah.
And I'm only speaking for myself. Do your research on it. Do your research
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
it. Fluoride is something that should not go into the body. It should not go into the body. If if somebody and I know this has happened in a truck with fluoride in the back that it gets in an accident and rolls over and the fluoride goes under the ground. It's a hazardous waste, and they have to put the hazmat suits on to clean it up. And I know
Wow.
that's concentrated, and we, of course, the water dilutes it, but it's not good for you. It's not good for you.
Of course. I mean,
So,
anything you've got to put a hazmat suit on to deal with, it can't be good for your insides, right?
yeah, kind of like chemo, but we won't go there today. All right.
No, we'll go down different routes and different
Let's
on
go a
different
different route.
podcasts
But
because
let's
this
get back to the water. So the
this could go down many.
water comes out of the tap, comes out of the faucet, right? And the thing is if you're going to put it in your body, you want to have it go through a filter. Now there's different ways that you can filter it. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah,
you can get a little container and you can pour it in. It goes through a filter, and then you can put this container in your fridge so you can have cold water, right?
yeah,
And you can go all the way up to putting big filters that go through the whole house,
hmm
that go through the
yeah.
whole house. That's a smart thing to do. If you can collect all the chlorine before it comes into the house, do you know what the biggest organ in our body is?
Good question. I've got kidney in my head.
Our skin.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. It makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So our
Yeah.
skin is the biggest organ in our body, and it absorbs everything.
Mm,
So when you're
good point.
taking a shower, if the shower has chlorine, you're absorbing the chlorine into your
Yeah.
system. So you can get different filters that you can hook up to your shower where it stops the chlorine and all the rest of the stuff from going and hitting your
Mm,
body and going
yeah.
into and going through your skin into it. I mean, if you don't believe me, start looking at some of the different things that are happening today through through the skin. There's people where they can get their vitamins and they just put a patch on and it goes through the skin into the body, right?
I've got them. I've got them patches.
Yeah. So
I
though
can't show it you right now because I took it off,
that's
but I
okay.
have got them.
It's
I have
okay.
got them
I
patches.
thought you were going somewhere else. Like I can't show it to you because it's in a certain spot in my body, but
No.
okay.
I've been using the patches for quite a while, you know.
So
So
when we look at the water, this is why we're talking about this. This is an education thing.
yeah,
You need and all the things that we talk about, do your research on it. Do your research on it. And some of the stuff that we will talk about, we will underneath in the notes here, we're gonna put these different videos that we've watched that
hmm
educated us on the water and why we choose to talk about no fluoride as an example in the water, right?
yeah,
So
big time.
as it comes down, then what we want to do is we want to make as clean a water as we possibly can have to go into our system. So
hmm
our bodies, our bodies are, some people say 70% water, some people say 60% water. There's a lot of water in our system. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so the older you get, the less water you do have. So they say like when you're a kid, you have 70-75% of your body's water and then it kind of fades away. But we still have a ton of water in our system. And
hmm
so people are like, well, it's not that much. And I said, maybe not. Okay. But if you've ever been to a transition or a celebration of life and somebody gets cremated,
Yep.
their body is in a little box.
Yep.
Now, what they've done is they've just got rid of all the fluid that's in your
hmm
body and it's in a little box. So it's
Yep.
pretty close to 60 to 70%.
Well, I know
So
what mine's at right now anyway, and I believe you know what yours is at. Mine's at 58.7% of my body.
yeah, mine was at 64 the last time I looked.
And I want to
So
get mine up. I've
and
not
and and
been
what
to
and what let's
it
get
yet.
into that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But as we put the water into our bodies, what it does is that's where everything's transported through.
Mm.
It's transported through the blood, but the blood has a lot of water in it, right?
Mm.
So what we want to do is we want to educate ourselves to first put the right water into our system,
hmm
and then second, it's the amount of water.
Yeah, I
It's the
agree.
amount of water, right? And so how much water do you think you should put in your body?
Well,
What do
I
you
know
know?
I have to put 3 liters of water into my body a day.
Yeah. So 3 liters of water in your body a day. And then you can help me out. Like in the United States, you should look at how much do you weigh? And I'm
Yeah.
using this really, real easy thing. You want to put half of your body weight in ounces of water. You want to put it in your
Mhm.
body every single day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you want to put 100 ounces of water into your system every day.
Which is equivalent, if people are listening to this, 100 ounces of water is equivalent to about 3 liters of water a day.
Yeah. So
There or thereabouts.
if you have an 8 ounce glass of water, like this is eight, you
Yeah.
need to drink 12 and a half or 13 glasses of this every single day.
Yeah.
So,
And
and I ask the people that are listening to this, do you drink more than 10 glasses of water a day?
so let's just touch on something because I'm curious about certain things like, do you class having coffee? No, actually, that's a bad one, to be perfectly
No,
honest.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that is a good one because in terms, coffee dehydrates your body as well. But do you class that as having water?
Yep. There is water in it, but
Yep,
if you have a cup of coffee, I have it over here. I have a cup
yep,
of coffee right here.
yep.
And I would say if you drink 6 ounces of coffee, it's
Yeah.
equal to 3 ounces of water.
Okay, cool.
But then when you
Uh,
drink coffee, mine's I believe decaffeinated, so there's no
Yeah,
caffeine. if you have caffeinated coffee, which most people do,
Mhm.
it's going to, it's like a diuretic. It's going to suck some of the water out, so you're going to get a little bit less. But you are getting water, so you don't want to
Yes.
drink,
Okay.
you know, 42 of these with coffee. I'm more exaggerating, but it's true. You want to do,
Well, yeah, I mean that's
and
something
you're
that a
you're
lot of
going to get
people do.
water when you eat your salad. There's water in fruit. There's water in vegetables and those types of things. But what we're just talking about today, that's an add-on, is
Yeah.
seeing it right here, the clear water.
I just wanted because in some aspects when I first started doing this, when I first started going into drinking a lot of water, for someone that doesn't drink a lot of water that may be listening to us, like it's quite a challenging thing for them to think that and it's quite a big mountain to climb to all of a sudden go to like 3 liters or 2 liters or whatever, 100 ounces, 75 ounces, of
Hmm.
water when they're not really drinking much. So I just wanted to bring that up a little bit about, you know,
The amount.
the yeah, the amount of water. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about the reasons why as well, because we've both got very good stories about we've both got very good stories about why drinking water is super
Hmm. Hmm.
it's so important. That's the word I'm going to use. Is so important to us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
let's
no,
let's
the thing, and that's the thing. If anybody's ever, been part of our program, we call it baby steps. It's
yeah,
just take small little baby steps to get to the point where you are drinking half of your body weight in
yeah,
ounces, but building it up, and it's all about awareness, becoming aware. It's like,
correct.
right now, if somebody's listening to this, they've never been aware of how much water they drink.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Is how much water do you actually drink? That's
Hmm.
that's the first step, and then going from there. And every time you keep picking that glass up, I'm like, you know, I wish I had my glass of water with me right now. But let's go and let's have do you know what? Go with the story that you told me a long time ago. I want to hear the story again because it really
Told
does.
you a couple stories, so why don't you
Okay,
get me a
let's
little bit clearer?
let's go with the dehydration story, and we'll talk about your dehydration story, and then I'll talk about my dehydration story, so people can
Okay. Well, my
understand going
dehydration
forward.
story, you tell yours first, because when I tell mine, we're going to get right into the electrolytes.
Alrighty then. So my that's a good point. That's a good lead into actually. My story was very, very recent. So since working with you and partnering up with you, I really started to drink a hell of a lot of water and just consistently. Also, you mentioned it briefly with electrolytes in there as well. And then this bonfire night just gone fireworks season for people in the US. I'll explain. It's like your 4th of July, and we just do it in November instead of the middle of summer. So it's a very big celebration. And if people out there don't know, I have multiple fireworks shops, and that's what I do or did before I started joining with Jeff. And this year I had an episode where I was stood in one of the shops and I had this overwhelming feeling coming over me and a shooting pain, and then this whole shot of feeling like I was having a heart attack.
Hmm.
And I will shorten the story as much as Jeff's thinking, wow, this could go on for a long time.
You're
Um,
not in my brain. You have no idea what I'm thinking.
and so I ended up rushing myself to hospital. I ended up getting there. And then whilst I
Hey,
was there,
how come you didn't take the ambulance?
well, because it was going to take an hour to get there.
Okay. You told me it, so
Yeah.
I just, that's funny.
Yeah,
That,
that's all right. When I rung 999 or I got somebody to ring 999 for me, which is your 911, when they said how long the ambulance was going to be, they said it was an hour, and I realized that the hospital was actually only 7-minute drive away from where I was at the time. So I bundled myself in the car and I got a friend of mine to drive the vehicle to the hospital. And on the way, I kept getting these waves of like I felt okay, I get my breathing under control, and then I had this crash of a like holy shit, holy moly, like it's gonna what's going on and
you can swear.
shit. So when we got there, I had this numb feeling through my left side, believe it or not. And then when I got in, I had zero strength when they were doing the assessment in my left side. It was like I was then having a feeling of like, am I having a stroke? Am I having a stroke? So when I came out to being assessed at the beginning, I had this major feeling of thirst. Like, and I said to this lady at the side, do you mind if I just have some of your Lucasade? Right? And she gave me some of her Lucasade in a cup. And as I drunk that, I was like, no, that's not what I'm after. And then I seen a water fountain. And I said to my friend, go get me some water, please. And as he got the water and the water touched my lips, I was like, holy moly, get me more, get me more. And it was really crazy because you sent me something this week that really hit home as well, which was I was struggling to remember things. I was struggling to remember certain aspects. I was struggling to remember what was really going on. And I was struggling to get my breathing under control and also get out of my head of thinking, I'm having a stroke, I'm having a heart attack, what am I having? And it was all this kind of like real emotional stuff going on. And then I kept drinking the water and I said to him, right, do me a favor, dude, can you just push me to the water fountain?
Mm-hmm.
And then as he pushed me to the water fountain, they went and tested me. They tested my blood whilst they did the assessment. And I got there, and it was very funny actually because he passed me another glass, and I had well a plastic cup with water in it, and I went to grab it with my left hand, and I didn't have enough strength to even hold the glass, and the cup fell onto my lap, and it looked like I peed myself. So everybody in the hospital started laughing, and I was like, I haven't peed myself, I promise. And all the water was everywhere, and it was just one of them moments where I was like, wow.
There are long stories, and then there's stories, and there's some things that just don't need to be talked about. But anyway,
Well,
go ahead. What you're trying to say is you were so weak on your left side that
yeah, on my
you
left
couldn't even
side,
grip
yeah,
anything. Okay.
yeah. That's what so then I was then I said to him, I said, do me a favor, just keep getting me the water. And
Hmm.
I counted 36 glasses of water until I started to feel better. And then I was like, okay. So then when I went in to see the doctor after a long time, she said, and I had an ECG done on my heart and everything was fine. It came back all amazing. I said to her, do you mind if I ask you a question? And she said, yeah. I said, when you run my blood tests, she said, yeah. I said, was I dehydrated? And she went, why did you say that? And I said, because I drunk like 36 to maybe over 40 cups of water and I started to feel better. And she went, yes, you was dehydrated. Your blood levels was telling us you was dehydrated. And, you've managed to get it right. And now you seem all right and seem everything's good. And ever since that day, I've been like, okay, now I understand what dehydration is. Because I
Hmm.
went from drinking 3 liters of water a day under a very, normal day to
Hmm.
a very high pressured scenario in general with long hours, a lot of time being on my feet, a lot of movement, like a lot of movement. I think I did something like 38,000 steps that day, something ridiculous. With
Hmm.
also a lot of psychology, mental stuff going on, running a lot of businesses at the same time. And I worked back and I drank less than a liter of water that day. I drank around about half a liter of water.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could have been a built up too
Yeah,
of a couple days like that where the body just will like it was giving you a signal. It was letting
oh,
you know.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and it was, and I think you're right. In fact, I don't think I know it was a lack of maybe half a liter here being missed, half a liter here being missed, maybe a liter being missed on another day.
Mhm.
If
Well,
this all
and
kind of built up.
here's the thing that I want to share with you as I'm hearing this. On a normal day, most people on a normal day, people should drink half their body weight in
Mhm.
ounces. Okay.
Yeah.
You did not have a normal day.
Nope.
So you should have even drank more
Yep. 100%.
because the two organs that use the most water is the brain and the colon, right?
Yeah.
And your brain was being used all day long because you
Mhm.
were trying to put out fires everywhere, trying to help, get as many fireworks out to the public as possible so they could have a
Mhm.
beautiful, a beautiful celebration. And you were using a lot of your energy here, which took water
Yep.
and everything else. So you did not have a normal day. So you should have been drinking even more.
I agree. I agree
So this
entirely.
is this is like when we talk about half your body weight in ounces, that's a normal day if you are sitting in front of a computer all day long and it's a norm, that's where that should come in. If it's any
No, I agree.
extra, you're going to go out and run. I watch people, they go run a marathon and they're smart of their body. They're hydrated before they show up and they stay hydrated all the way through.
I
Yeah.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree entirely.
Yeah. Well,
And
thanks for
I
sharing
just
that
wanted to
story. Is there
share
anything
that.
else you want to finish with
No,
that?
no, I just wanted to share that because I feel like it would be it's good to talk about it, right? That's what this is all about. These conversations are just all about conversations.
Okay. That makes somewhat sense.
Not everything has to make sense.
I know. I know. That's why I like to hang out with you. So, okay. All right. So before I share my story, I want to go back to that video that I sent you, and we're going to put it in the notes below. But there's
Yep,
a doctor out there by the name of Dr. Lodi, Lodi, and
yep,
he talks about he had a patient come in, and it was a grandfather, and I believe I don't know if it was his son or his grandson that brought him in, and they said that their grandfather, let's say this grandson brought him in, the grandfather he said in the last months he can't remember anything. He forgets to do things. He forgets to do. So they were like, they diagnosed it as dementia. It's like, oh,
yep,
my grandfather's got dementia. He's got to go. Well, the doctor took blood work just like the doctor did with you, did some
yep,
more research, found out that this elderly gentleman was chronically dehydrated, hooked him up to some IVs in the hospital, got him hydrated, and all of a sudden his memory started coming back. So he did not have dementia. He
yep,
was dehydrated. So
yep.
just that this is how important it is to like really be get hydrated, right? And because we have
Yes.
so many different things we can be drinking today, and I don't want to go and start pinpointing things, but things yeah, like you gotta be educated and read the label. You know,
Yeah, big time.
people realize that they need to be hydrated, so these big companies are starting to put like vitamin D water, vitamin water out there. Well, if you look at it, there are a few vitamins in there, but how they make it taste for you, they're putting sweeteners in. That is not water. That is not
Nope.
water. And we're
Agreed.
going to talk about what to put into the water here in just a second. So, my story has to do with I got to kind of tell you a little bit about what I do other than when I'm in front of a camera doing this stuff. I'm a contractor for Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is been in 40, 50 years. He's been in the personal growth, personal development world, and he has created a real following. He changed my life, absolutely changed my
My
life, my family's life. I have been blessed to volunteer for some of his events. One of the events that I've done for 18 years is called Unleashing the Power Within. If you hear people say UPWs, it's the exact same thing. And one of the things Tony's known for at that event, because it's a 4-day event, is the first night, all participants have the opportunity to walk across hot coals. And I was blessed 8, 9 years ago to become the assistant captain for the fire team. So I go around the world and bring volunteers together, and we do a lot of safety training and stuff to prepare the event. So we call it like we create the party, and then the volunteers internally bring bring the participants out to be able to walk across the coals. And this particular event, my job during the walk, while people are walking across, is I was called the shoveler. I was the lead person on a lane. What we do is we build a big fire, build it down, and get a whole bunch of coals. We take the coals, put them in wheelbarrows, roll them around to these lanes, we call them 30, 40 lanes that we have. And then each person has the opportunity to take 4 or 5 strides across this. The lane is made out of sod or grass. We sprinkle the coals onto the grass, and then they walk across it. Well, at that particular event, I was Tony's shoveler. So Tony comes out and he's one of the trainers that gets people in the state and sends them across. And as Tony's coming out, I'm standing there with the shovel, and my boss tapped me on the shoulder and he said, light up the lanes, which means put the coals down.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there. He says, yes, I take a couple scoops, I put the coals onto there, and then I'm supposed to tap them down. If there's any bigger ones, it breaks them down a little bit. My first tapping down of the coals, I cramped up in my right hand, and my hand cramped up like this, and it wouldn't move. And it was my forearm was all locked up. Somebody grabbed it and started to rub on my forearm, and my fingers started to open up. And as soon as they would stop, it would go back, and I couldn't do it. So, in the language of a fire teamer, I had to tap out. Well,
Yeah.
Tony Robbins is on his way out. They're ready to get going. The person that taught me how to do what I do with the shovel is my boss, Bill Keith. Bill had already had another job. They had to move people around, and then Bill was the shoveler. Tony was surprised. He was like, "What are you doing?" And it ended up working out, but I had to tap out. Now, if we rewind the tapes of that day, I drank a ton of water. Now,
Hmm.
we were in Singapore, is like Captain Bill says, it's like on the top of the equator. So it was a hot day, you know. I drank a ton of water. What I didn't do is I didn't put electrolytes in my water. I did not get the minerals that I needed to put
Yeah.
the fluid in. I was hydrated outside of my cells. I was not hydrated inside my cells, and
Mhm.
that's why I cramped up. If
Yeah.
you ever get a cramp in the middle of the night, it's typically because not enough water, not enough, most people say magnesium, right? What is
Yeah.
magnesium? It's
Of
an
course.
electrolyte. It's a
Yeah.
mineral that helps you. So I was depleted in minerals, not water.
Yeah.
And so I cramped up and had to tap out, wasn't able to do my job. The reason that I'm sharing this is because we talked about education on drinking
Yeah.
water. First, you got to drink clean water. You got to get all the other stuff out of it, the fluorides, the chlorine and stuff. But you also need to get electrolytes along with it. There's some doctors out there today that say they won't drink any water without having electrolytes in it. So
Yeah.
now to just tell you a little bit about electrolytes, there's 92 minerals that we need for this body to run. Okay?
Yeah.
The ones that most people know of is the potassium, the magnesium. Those are like the top ones. But there's trace minerals all the way through, all the way to 92 of them. One of the things that we recommend is, and I have it right here. I don't have it in the container, but this container sits on my.
There you go.
Yeah, that's Ultimate Replenisher. That has the essential electrolytes in it. You can use that, or this is salt. But
Oh, is it okay? That's
you
the
have to
salt.
be very educated, and you have to have the right salts. So you
Yeah.
want to have high mineral salts. One of them that we highly recommend is Baja Gold, and
Yeah.
Baja Gold has over 80 of the 92 minerals for you. So I just put it in my water and I drink it along around the day. If I get bored with drinking water, I will get the Ultimate Replenisher and I will put it in because it has a flavor to it. Gives me a little bit of a flavor, something to go. And it's about as clean as you possibly can get.
Yep.
So in a nutshell, do your research and watch your body. Listen to your
Yeah.
body. Listen to your body. If I'll educate you a little bit more, which is something that when I learned it, it was like it blew me away and it made me really realize this. As we age, a lot of us are going, man, my memory's slipping. I'm not remembering things. I don't remember these types of things. And we think it's because we're getting older. A lot of times it's because we're dehydrated. So this is what
Mm.
happens. This is what how the body is survival. This is how it survives. For water to go into the brain, it has to go through the blood brain barrier, and that's
Yeah.
right in the back of the neck where these two meet. There's the brain stem. The brain
Mhm.
stem goes into the subconscious mind. This is the one that's beautiful. This is the one that runs the show. This is the one that makes the heart beat
Yeah.
1,000 times a day. It's the things we don't have to think about. And these are where our habits are at. And this is
Mhm.
where we're habitual creatures. But here's what the subconscious and the conscious mind are this is where it kind of separates. The subconscious mind that runs the show,
Mhm.
when the water comes in, it's taking it first because it wants to
Yeah.
survive. If there's no more water left over, it will not send it into the frontal part of the brain. And this is where we think, this is where our
Yeah.
logic is, this is where we
Mhm.
solve our problems, this is where we remember.
Mhm.
If you're dehydrated, and I'm not going to say chronically, but if you're dehydrated, the
Yeah.
brain stem, the subconscious mind will take its water and say, can't give you any. So all of a sudden, if it's dehydrated up here, now you can't remember.
Yeah.
Just like this older gentleman that was chronically dehydrated. Exact same thing. So once you get hydrated, you start thinking better, you start remembering, you start able to solve problems better, those types of things. So just to let you know how that kind of works, and this is that's the sequence of how it runs.
Mm.
Now, a side note, Gary Brecka, that we talked about a little bit ago, he says that over 90% of headaches is because of dehydration.
That is, yeah, that is true.
So
That's,
instead of
that's science.
running for a ibuprofen or something, Advil or something like that, what you want to do is you want to get a good scoop of Baja Gold,
Yeah.
put it in some water, mix it up, and drink all of that, and see how you feel 20 minutes from now.
Yeah.
One or two
Yeah, he
glasses
does
of
say
that.
that quite often. He says that he can eradicate headaches with just drinking salt water. And that's something we have in the morning as well, right? We have a lemon and salt water so that we get hydrated in the morning.
Yeah, and you have to have the right amount of that, and that you go into that in the program. They'll tell you more about that. But yeah, it's starting off the day in a hydrated state.
Exactly. And then continuing it.
Yeah,
So
so that's my
yeah.
story, and I'm sticking to it. That's the
Well, that's what you lived. I mean, there's probably a bit more to that story as well, but one day we'll maybe find out about a bit more about it.
which
And
one?
you've got multiple stories as well, right? You've told me multiple stories about dehydration, and maybe we'll touch on them in in other episodes that we're going to be doing. We'll touch back on water in more depth again in
Sure.
another
I mean,
episode.
it's an awesome subject. In the program, we live by one thing. We live by a lot of things, but one of the things we our foundation is it's called CNI's constant,
Yeah,
never ending improvement. So I'm constantly, and I know Peter is now, we're constantly looking at how can we educate ourselves and implement it into our lives
yeah,
and then bring it in and make our program even better and better and better and better. And that's what I love to do. I absolutely, if you look on my screen time for my phone, it'll say that I'm a YouTube junkie, but it's what am I listening to? I'm listening about
yeah.
what I'm a geek when it comes to the water,
You are, you
the
are, you
breath,
are.
those types of things. So yes, you could say I'm wasting my time, but I'm trying to educate myself to become a better student as I go. But that's how I educate myself. I would rather watch a video than read a book. And I will
Yeah,
read the books. I will read the
yeah,
books. But for me, my brain downloads and I remember better if I'm listening to a video. And I know a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, no, and the thing is yours, you're very passionate about water, which I absolutely love. You know, I we did episode 2, I think was sleep, and I think episode 3 was can I? So, you know, mine's sleep. I love sleep. You know, I do a lot of stuff to do with sleep. I'm actually starting to do a bit more about the gut as well, and we'll get into that
Mhm.
in more episodes. But you know, this week's conversation has been an amazing conversation.